Hey everybody! Hope you guys are doing good. So today I thought I would show you how to make this really cute flower bracelet. Look at that, look how cute that is. We're in March, it's getting into spring, so I thought why not? This is actually a bracelet that I used to make a number of years ago when I used to live in Michigan. So I found a couple of them when I was cleaning out my closet the other day. So I've got a turquoise one, I've got a green version. I got this one that I went a little crazy with, put all kinds of doodads on there. And then I also have this little cute one, this little like kids version, which I did in yellow and green. So I thought, why not? Let's bring it out of the vault and show you guys how to make these guys. I also have a necklace version that I'm going to go show you guys in another video, so be on the lookout for that. But today we're going to make this bracelet, this one right here. So what you need is you will need some of these check glass dagger beads. I have some 3mm check fire polish check glass beads and some 6mm check glass drook beads, and then some little silver metal spacers, some crimp tubes, and then you're going to need some beading wire. So what I'm using is 0.015 inches is the thickness, and it's the 19 strand. And as far as tools, all you need like a beading mat comes in handy so that you can keep all your beads from rolling away. And then you're going to need a pair of wire cutters and a pair of chain nose or flat nose pliers to do the crimps with. Alrighty, let's get started. So to start with, I am going to cut myself 2 feet of the beading wire. Okay. Let's see. I don't really need quite that much, but with this project, I'd rather have a little bit too much than a little bit too little. To start off with, we are going to take our little daggers, and we need 12. So there's 6. There's 12. We're going to need 12 for the petals to make the flower. And you're just going to string all 12 onto your beading wire. Okay. Okay, last one. You're going to string all 12 of the daggers, and then you're going to pull it so that they fall to the middle of your beading wire. Okay, so matching the ends up and making sure that they all are down there in the middle. All right, so then I'm going to take one end, and I'm actually going to string it back through all of these dagger beads. Okay. All right, so it takes a little while to do this. Don't worry, just be patient with it. Jewelry making should not be stressful. Jewelry making should be fun, relaxing. All right. Once I have my beading wire strung through all the beads, the first time, like I strung them all on and then I went through them all again. I'm going to actually now go through just half of them. So I want to go through 6 of them. So I want one piece of beading wire coming out on both sides. So I'm going to take whichever one is the longest of the two. That's the one I'm going to take and string through 6 again. So if you have to string these through a couple at a time, don't like try and, you know, string it through all 6 at once. So I just went through 2. You do want to try and be careful and not let this twist as you pull it through. So I'm untwisting the loop and pulling it through so I don't get a kink in there. Okay. Let's see if I can't get it through a couple more. Well, it looks like it just wants to go through one. Again, if it twists like this, just untwist it. See how down there at the base, they're not overlapped. If they're overlapped, you're gonna get a kink if you pull it all the way through. So pull it so that they're not overlapped as you pull it through. And you'll be less likely to get a kink in your beading wire. All right, come on. Come on. Go through the beads. How many did I go through? 4. 2 more. Looks like it only wants to go through 1 at a time. 1 little bead at a time. Last one, yay. Sometimes this is harder to do on camera than in person because like I would pull this up closer to my face so that I could see better, but I'm trying to keep it all in frame for you guys, so. Oh no! I skipped over a bead. Well, that was no good. So I'm gonna have to take that out. See, look, I skipped over a bead. Oh dear, goodness gracious. Apparently I like to make more work for myself than I need to. Okay. Finally. All right. So you're gonna pull all that nice and snug. Okay. So you have your piece like this. Now you need to add the center of your flower. So you actually need a new piece of beading wire. And for this one, I cut about whatever your wrist size is, like cut that much and add a little bit. So if you have like a 7-inch wrist, do like 7, and I like to add 2 inches on each side for the crimp. So do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 11. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut like another foot just to be on the safe side. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna string on our little 6mm and we're gonna put it in the middle of the flower. Now we have 2 threads on each side. What we're gonna do is we're gonna gather up our 2 threads and we are going to do this pattern here. So we're gonna string one of those little 6mm fire polished. We're gonna string one of our little, 3mm fire polish, faceted check fire polished bead. A little silver spacer, a 6mm check glass droop bead, and then we're gonna repeat that pattern a couple times. Okay. Pull that all the way down there towards my flower. Okay. Now, depending on your wrist size will depend on how many beads you need to add, on each end. But you would add that many on this side, and we're also going to add the same amount on this other side. And once I have the beads strung, like I said, you're gonna make sure that it's big enough for your wrist. So just because I did this many beads does not mean that's how many you need. You may need more or less depending on your wrist size. Okay. And you're gonna pull those down as well. And your string that's going through this middle bead is loose right now, so it can pull from one side to the other. You can see when I tug on it. So you want to try and keep it centered. But there you go. So I'm going to go ahead and string the rest of these beads, and then I'm going to show you guys how to crimp the clasp on. Okay, so I strung the beads on to this one side. Now I'm going to crimp it off. So you want to get a little crimp tube. Okay, and you're going to string that onto both pieces of wire. Okay, can you see that? And you're going to pull it all the way down. Now, one of my strings is longer than the other, so that can cause me a little bit of an issue, but all right, there we go. So now I'm going to add the clasp, and so what you do is you string the clasp on through the hole in the clasp. And again, I'm putting both pieces of wire through the loop of that clasp. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wires, I'm going to bend them over, and I'm going to push them through that crimp tube, okay? Now, if it helps you, you can actually clip both of these tails off so that they're the same length. So I'm going to clip that off like that. Now, you want to keep your clasp above the crimp tube. You don't want it to slide like underneath the crimp tube like that. You want it above the crimp tube. Okay, like so. Fold these tails over and push them back through that crimp tube, like so. See, like that? Okay. And then we're going to pull this down to our beads, like so. All right, so now I'm going to string the rest of the beads on this side, and then I'll put it on the other side, the other part of the clasp, and then I'll show you how to end it off. Okay, so once again, I have the bead strung here. I am going to grab one of these crimp tubes, and I'm going to add the other side of my clasp. And then I'm going to take the tails, I'm going to bend them over like so, creating a loop around my clasp, and push the ends of the beading wire, oops, I need both of them, back through there. I'm going to pull that so that it is tight against my beads. Okay, there you go. Now, once I have that done, once I have it pulled as tight as I need it to be, you want to leave a little bit of a loop there just so this has space to move. You don't want it so tight that this can't move. Then you're going to take your chain nose pliers and you're going to go in and you're going to flatten that tube. So squeeze it nice and hard. I might flip it over and also just make sure I get the other side good. All right, once we do that, we're going to take your wire cutters, and you want these flush cut wire cutters that have a flat side. This pinch side gives you a pinch cut, that gives you a flat cut. And you're going to clip it off as close to the crimp tubes as you can get it. Can you see? All right, and you want to make sure you don't cut the thread that's going through here, obviously, also. All right. There we go. So there's that end. We're going to do the same thing to this other side, where, like I said, we make sure that this is pulled tight next to your beads and your clasp. You leave a little bit of a space for the clasp to be able to move. Then you take your chain nose or flat nose pliers, squash that crimp tube, and I flip it over and I make sure I squash it on the other side to make sure it's nice and tight. Then you're going to take your wire cutters, put them up nice and tight against that crimp tube, if you can see that. Clip that off. And voila, look, you have a bracelet. So let's put it on. Yay! This is the good part. Like after you're done, you can wear your jewelry. Look at that. Look how cute that is. You got two. Like I can make them, I can stack them. I can wear them together. I can have a whole garden on my wrist. Yeah. I don't know, that might be a bit much. Well, anyways, thank you guys for joining me today. Like I said, that's how you make a little flower bracelet. We do have kits available on the website if you guys are interested in buying a material kit. And we will be doing another video where I show you how to make it as a necklace. All right, thank you for watching, guys. Bye.